For 6 months, it wasn't 50-50?
No. When she left the house, right, she left and went with another man, right? I didn't know where he was. I didn't know she lived in Mesquite at that time. It was right after we went in front of Judge Lee that she decided to tell us where she lived because that.
At this time, counsel, would you like to make an opening statement? Attorney Lane.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you very much. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What you won't see from the content of the file that's important is the parties were married, they divorced, and then they remarried. So this is actually the second divorce for the parties. There was a prenuptial agreement dealing with property that was also memorialized in the partial mediated settlement agreement. So all property issues are resolved. We are asking the court today to grant a divorce on the grounds of insupportability and to award the property as issued in the partial mediated settlement agreement. The only remaining issues is the child custody evaluation, child custody, possession, access, and support. Since the time of their decree, the parties have been operating on a 50-50 basis. We did conduct a child custody evaluation, which has been admitted into evidence. And we are simply asking the court to honor the recommendations of the evaluation and appoint mom as both parties as joint managing conservator, but mom is the party with the right to designate the primary residency and to grant dad the expanded standard schedule and to set child support for dad to help out. With that, I'm closed my opening statement. Sorry.
Thank you, counsel. Attorney Taylor.
Yes, Judge. So, as Mr. Lane mentioned, the parties were divorced previously, and there's a divorce decree from 2017. In that decree, the parties they agreed to a 50-50 week-on-week schedule. Again, under the temporary orders in this case from January of 2024, Judge Lee ordered this almost the exact same week-on, week-off schedule with the father, Mr. Hector Ayala Gomez, as the primary conservator. The parties have operated under that schedule since January of 2024 with no modifications, no emergency motions, no request to change from either side. The custody evaluation was completed April of 2025. And again, since that time, neither one has asked to modify those orders. Your Honor, which has been, the custody evaluation has already been admitted into evidence, but if you in that evaluation, the basis for changing the possession and access and making mom the primary conservator is based on an unqualified statement that the father works a lot. But you will see that there is no breakdown of the father's hours, no mention of the father missing any important milestones or school activities or not being available for the child. In fact, you will see in that evaluation, it says the child is fully well adjusted to this schedule and he's bonded to both parents, and both parents are equally active in his academics, extracurriculars, and in his life. Also, you will hear testimony today that there has been changes since that schedule where during the evaluation, mom was not working at all, and she had just accepted a severance from her position, where now she is working and she is utilizing childcare for the child, where it puts her and father in a similar position, where the recommendation is now stale because it's based off of facts that are no longer relevant. Additionally, we submitted a summary, but just to revise it a bit, my client is really just asking for this court to maintain what the child has been used to. He's 10 years old, and 6 out of the 10 years of his life, he's had a week-on, week-off schedule with both parents, and he's expressed in that evaluation that he loves that schedule. So to change that would not be in the best interest of the child. Additionally, we are asking the court to maintain father as primary as far as the residents within Dallas County and contiguous counties, or if the court would like to restrict to just Dallas ISD, as father has acted in that role for almost 2 years and there has not been any issues. Thank you.
Buckle up, guys. Today we are stepping into a case that wastes no time dropping tension right at the start. In just a few seconds, the father lays out a shocking situation, claiming the mother left the home and disappeared with another man, leaving him uncertain about where his child even was. That kind of statement instantly raises questions about stability, responsibility, and trust. It's not just emotional, it sets a serious tone for everything that follows. From the very first moment, you can feel this case isn't going to be simple. It's messy, personal, and already full of conflict.
Thank you. Attorney Lane, you may call your first witness.
Call Michelle Reyes to the stand, please.
Okay.
May I share with you my screen?
Yes. Both you all can both share your screen. You don't have to ask.
Okay, thank you.
You go. You're welcome.
Good morning. Would you please state your name and address for the record?
Michelle Reyes, and my address is 425 Kent Drive, Mesquite, Texas, 75149.
And have you been a resident of the county for at least 90 days and a resident of the state of Texas for at least 180 days prior to filing the suit?
Yes.
And I know the suit's been pending for a while. It's been pending for about 2 years. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Because we had to mediate the case once before the child custody evaluation, and we mediated a second time after the child custody evaluation, correct?
Correct.
And scheduling that second mediation took months because the opposing party didn't want to set it for mediation. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you think that's by design and intentional to try to delay and put time between today's final trial and the child custody evaluation?
I do believe
Objection
so.
and speculation.
Sustain.
Did you and your attorney make multiple attempts to schedule the second mediation to know it, but were met with delays?
Yes.
I'm sharing with you, if you could identify the document that's on your screen as Petitioner's summary of requested relief after the final trial. And is this a true, accurate, and correct copy of your summary of requested relief?
Yes.
And today you're asking the court to simply follow the child custody evaluation, which took 8 months to complete, and to find that you both should be appointed joint managing conservators, correct?
Correct.
And that in addition to being joint managing conservators, that you should be the conservator who determines the primary residency of the child within Dallas or contiguous counties, right?
Yeah.
And that the respondent should have an expanded standard possession schedule.
Correct.
Did you, and you're also asking the court to put that on child support today, as well as continue medical support?
Right.
Did you participate in the child custody evaluation?
I did.
And did you have an opportunity to express your concerns to the evaluator?
I did.
In particular, concerns related to the 50-50 possession schedule and co-parenting with the respondent?
Yes.
What's it like to try to co-parent with the respondent?
A lot of the times I am left with no response, or if there is a response, a lot of it is trying to gain control over my household, or just like trying to minimize me, or like the smallest thing down to like clothes or anything myself, which has nothing to do with this. But it's just very hard to communicate, and it's just been extremely complicated to co-parent.
Does Hector prefer to have his house, his rules, your house, your rules type of a mentality to co-parenting?
Yes, and he's very much of like, he thinks his way is the best way, instead of like trying to like meet in the middle. He's just like, well, this is what I think it's right, so I think this is how it should be. And if like I don't agree, it's always like a little tip that we will have.
And have you read the child custody evaluation since it was marked as an exhibit?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I haven't read it all because some of it was redacted, but I was read some of the stuff that I was able to read.
And there's multiple reasons why the evaluator reached the decision that the evaluator reached, correct?
Yes.
It's not as simple as Hector works too much.
Yeah.
But let's speak to that. What does Hector do for a living?
He owns restaurants, and I'm not sure how many he has now, but I know for sure he has at least 3 with my dad.
All right, guys, now the courtroom shifts into formal mode, and the real structure of the case begins to unfold. The attorney calmly lays out that this isn't even the first divorce between these two. It's their second, which already hints at a long history of unresolved issues. Property is settled, so the fight is purely about the child. The mother is pushing to become the primary parent and is also asking for child support. This is where the stakes become crystal clear. It's no longer about the past relationship, it's about control, custody, and what the future looks like for their child.
And so, and what's he do at those restaurants besides own them? Does he manage or troubleshoot or work at those restaurants?
The last thing I knew, he was managing them, and managing a restaurant is day to night. I'm not sure what his schedule is like now, though.
And at some point over the course of the last 2 years, have you ever had to take the child Alexander because Hector was unable to do so for work-related reasons?
Yes, several times. I've gotten several calls from the school of like, it's like 7 p.m. and no one's picked him up. Oh, like dad's not answering and he's sick. Just stuff like that. Like Christmas when they sing at the church, like I'm waiting for him. I'm just like, hey, where are you? And it's like no show, no text, no show. I'm just waiting there for like an hour. It's a lot.
And so one of the reasons that the evaluator states is he has a hectic work schedule, but that's not the only reason the evaluator gave, correct?
Correct.
In fact, the evaluator points to his dishonesty and
Objection to
communicating with
leading.
her.
Sustain, don't lead.
What do you do for a living, Ms. Reyes?
So I too have a percentage in restaurants, and then I am a fashion stylist for a company here in Dallas.
As you said, you have a percentage of ownership of restaurants. Does that require any day-to-day activity from you, or you're a passive investor?
Passive investor.
And is that through Hector and your father?
No, this is just with my dad.
I understand. And what are your hours that you generally work?
When I'm working here at my job here in Dallas, I'll drop off Alexander, work from 8, and then I'll get off at 4, and then I'm home by like a little bit before 5, no later than 5.
Does it ever require you to work on the weekends?
Never.
Does it ever require you to have an emergency that would call you in after 4 p.m.?
No.
Do you have childcare in place for Alexander?
I do, yes.
Does your work schedule prohibit you from being able to pick up Alexander or take him to school?
Not at all. There's times where I've been able to bring him to work with me if he got sick at school or if like there was no school and I had no other choice.
Do you know approximately, so you've been married to Hector twice. Do you have an idea of how much money Hector makes a year?
I really don't know, but I mean, just from
Objection is speculation. She just testified she doesn't know.
Sustain.
You don't know, you currently don't know. Is that right?
Correct.
When you were married to him before, what was he making?
Objection, can we get a timeline as to when or what year he's referring to?
During your first marriage?
Prior to
Sustain.
2017? If that's the case, I'm going to object to relevance.
Sustain.
What was he making before your current marriage separated?
Excuse me. I really don't remember what he was making.
Okay. You're asking the court to set child support based on whatever the guidelines would be for his income. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to pass the witness. Can I get a time, Your Honor?
Yes, you have 20 minutes and 12 seconds. Attorney
Okay.
Taylor, you have 27 minutes and 24 seconds.
Thank
Cross.
you, Your Honor.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Judge. Okay, so Ms. Reyes, you mentioned that you are currently working, but you would agree that during the custody evaluation, you indicated to the evaluator that you were not planning to go back to work. Is that correct?
That is false. I never said that.
At the time of the custody evaluation, you received a severance from your then employer and you were taking time off of work. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then also, you would agree that the basis of the custody evaluator's recommendation is that you had more availability at that time than Mr. Gomez. Is that correct?
I believe so.
And additionally, now that you are working, how many days a week do you have a nanny or your neighbor pick up Alexander from school?
My sitter picks him up Monday through Friday from 3:30 and I get home at 5.
And how far do you live from the school?
Taking in traffic, it is like a 40-minute drive.
So now you would agree that you and Mr. Gomez both utilize childcare on some days during your weeks. Is that correct?
Yes, but not the same amount.
All right, here's where things start to heat up as the father's side pushes back hard. His attorney challenges the entire foundation of the custody evaluation, calling it outdated and incomplete. She emphasizes that the child is doing well, is emotionally stable, and has strong bonds with both parents. More importantly, she argues there's no real evidence that the father's work life has harmed the child. This is a strategic shift, turning the narrative from concern into doubt. Suddenly, the mother's argument doesn't look as solid, and the court is forced to question what's actually changed.
Now, you also mentioned that you have gotten several calls from the school regarding Alexander being needed to be picked up. When is the last time you got a call from the school during Mr. Ayala Gomez's time?
I don't recall the exact date, but obviously when we're under this circumstance, no one's going to want to mess up. But it did happen a handful of times and everything is in the evaluation.
What year did it happen? Can you give us a year?
I believe it was like 2024.
Okay,
2024.
so you're not sure. Do you know how many times you got a call?
A handful. Everything's in there.
And then as far as the Christmas that you were referring to, which Christmas? What year?
I believe that was Christmas of 2024.
And Alexander what school is he currently attending?
Holy Trinity Catholic School.
And how long has he been in Holy Trinity?
Since the 3rd grade. He's in 5th now.
And you would agree that overall, academically, he's done well at Holy Trinity. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then during both parenting time, he's been able to maintain his academics and his attendance at school. Is that correct?
I can't fully agree with that.
And additionally, you two have been under this schedule since January of 2024, and you nor your attorney on your behalf has requested to modify the schedule at any time. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, you also would agree that Alexander is well adjusted to the week on week off schedule. Is that correct?
I don't know how to answer this because like if you talk to him, he'll be like, yes, he's very political in that way. But last night he was
Objection
like,
and non-responsive. Now, you would agree that for at least almost 6 years of his life, he's operated under a week on week off schedule with both you and Dad. Is that correct?
What was the time frame you just said?
For almost 6 years. So from 2017, your first marriage, to when you remarried in 2022, you two operated under the week on week off schedule, correct?
Not exactly, not the full 6 years, no.
So, but for the majority of his life, you would agree that you two have operated under this schedule?
Yes.
And you would agree that stability is important for a child, correct?
Yes.
Now, so therefore, when you agree that it's important for Alexander to maintain his stability in both homes, correct?
I just think he has better stability in one home.
Now, also, you understand that Alexander has siblings in dad's home, correct?
Yes.
That he is also bonded to, is that correct?
I don't know their dynamics.
Wouldn't you agree that changing his schedule could impact him emotionally and academically?
I don't think so.
And now, as far as your income, how much are you currently making with your employment and your ownership in the restaurants?
I'm really not sure.
Can you give us a guess?
Can we just say like 100 a year?
And additionally, since the temporary orders, you and Mr. Gomez have split Hector's tuition 50-50. Is that correct?
Yes, but there's been some things happening. Something happened.
And isn't it correct that you two you've paid 6 months and then he's paid the other 6 months, correct?
Yes.
And then there's been no request for additional child support since the temporary orders, correct?
Right, but there's been stealing on the other party's part.
Objection non-responsive.
Sustain.
Now, as far as the evaluator also recommended that you maintain enrollment in individual therapy, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The evaluator recommended that you maintain enrollment in an individual therapy. Is that correct?
I don't recall that.
Are you currently enrolled in individual therapy?
No.
And you have been diagnosed bipolar. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you were prescribed medication for that. Is that also correct?
I was prescribed, yes.
And are you currently in compliance with your medication?
I worked with a doctor to get off of it, and I've been good for months.
But you're not currently seeing a doctor. Is that correct?
Correct.
And if that was one of the recommendations from the evaluator, that's something that you understand that you're not currently following, correct?
I don't recall I don't recall that recommendation.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay. 1 second. I sent a message to the waiting room. Remember, before we started, I asked, was anyone waiting on someone named Aiden? I asked them for their calls number and they gave this number.
I don't know Aiden, and that's not on either of our pretrial disclosures to call someone named Aiden. The child custody evaluator was Jessica Rogers, so I'm not.
Also not familiar with Aiden, Judge. Maybe if we can ask if they have another name or.
Yeah, okay. I guess I could do that. I just didn't want to leave out. You all do not have any witnesses that you're missing, right?
Other than Miss Rogers, who I thought had been subpoenaed? No. So
We don't.
And Ms. Reyes, Mr. Gomez, you all didn't give the Zoom code to someone named Aiden? Or someone who has a child by the name of Aiden?
No.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. Okay. Any redirect, Attorney Lane?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly, please.
Go ahead.
Did you share your mental history with the child custody evaluator?
I did. I was very open and honest.
And was that reflected in the evaluator's report that you were open and honest about those things?
Yes, she was in contact with my doctor.
And was it also one of the things that she pointed out as a criticism of Hector because he focuses solely on that diagnosis?
Objection leading.
Sustained only.
Did what, if anything, did the evaluator say of Hector's comments toward your mental health?
She mentioned that there was a lot of negative things said about me versus focusing on the main problem. It was more of a personal attack versus like the actual what matters.
All right, guys, this moment is short but extremely powerful because it centers on one key idea: stability. The father's attorney highlights that the child has lived most of his life under a 50-50 arrangement and is comfortable with it. Changing that now could disrupt everything he's used to. It's a simple argument, but very effective. Judges often prioritize consistency for children, and this point hits directly at that principle. Instead of focusing on flaws, the defense leans into what's already working, making any proposed change feel risky and unnecessary.
Do you think going from a 50-50 schedule to an expanded standard schedule is a huge difference as far as Alexander's ability to adapt to the new recommendations of the evaluator?
No, I think he's going to adapt very well.
And you think Hector's a good father?
I do.
And you're not trying to prevent him from having access or visitation to the child, right?
That's correct.
But the two of you both participated in a child custody evaluation that took several months to complete, right?
Correct.
And it was very in depth.
Yes.
And you're asking the court to read the totality of it before she makes a decision based on today's it being presented in today's trial.
Yes, correct.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay. All right.
Reyes, if you don't, oh, sorry, Judge.
Go ahead.
Ms. Reyes, if you don't believe changing from a week on, week off schedule to an expanded standard schedule would make a big difference, then there's really no reason to make that change. Is that correct?
In a negative way.
Is the reason that you're wanting that change solely so you can get guideline child support from the father?
Absolutely not.
In your testimony, it wouldn't make a big difference. So keeping the schedule the same would also not make a big difference. Is that correct?
In a negative way, it wouldn't make a big difference. In a positive way, I believe so. Because if dad wants to be fun, dad, take the whole weekend, have fun. But let me give him that stability when he needs it for school.
You would agree that Alexander expressed to the custody evaluator that when you and dad initially separated before the temporary orders, when you only allowed him to see dad on weekends, he didn't like that schedule and he didn't like
Objection,
only being able to see
hearsay
dad
as
on
to
weekends.
what the child may or may not have said.
Judge,
Well-
that custody evaluation was admitted into evidence.
Yeah, I was gonna say the custody evaluation
Yeah.
is evidence, so it's not hearsay.
If that's what's in the if that's what's in the report, it's 49 pages. In particular, where are you referring to?
Which page, Attorney Taylor?
If you can give me just a second, Judge. I believe it's page 19, but I can get a second to find it. It's page 24. Child expressed he disliked weekends only time with father.
Okay, you may continue.
Again, Ms. Reyes, you would agree that Alexander expressed that he did not like only being able to see his father on weekends. Is that correct?
He's a child. He changes what he says.
Objection, non-responsive.
Sustain.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Attorney Lane, you may call your next witness.
Paul Hector Ray Gomez to Sam.
Okay.
Buckle up, because now we hear directly from the mother, and the tone becomes more emotional and personal. She describes co-parenting as difficult, claiming the father is controlling and unwilling to compromise. According to her, communication is strained and often turns into conflict over even small issues. This paints a picture of a tense and unhealthy dynamic between the parents. It's not just about schedules anymore, it's about how they interact daily. Her testimony aims to show that the current arrangement isn't as smooth as it looks on paper.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. How are you? Can you hear me well?
I'm doing well. If you would please state your full name and address for the record, please.
Yes, my full name is
Objection
Hector.
to stating his address, judges, since we're live. I believe that we can give that off of this if it's necessary.
Sustain, the court will agree. He can state his name. He can state the city.
Okay. My name is Hector Ayala Gomez, and I live in Dallas, Texas.
About how far away do you live from the petitioner, Michelle Reyes?
About 40 minutes, maybe 35 minutes.
And what do you do for a living?
I operate and manage restaurants.
How many restaurants do you have?
5.
And where are they located? Generally,
Mostly
not
in
on either.
North Texas.
Are they spread out? Are they all in Dallas? Or are they spread out through Central Texas?
North Texas, so several cities: Anna, Denison, Sherman, and Gainesville. There's several.
And approximately, what's your monthly gross income from from your employment?
5,000 monthly.
So each restaurant pays you $1,000 a month.
After expenses and everything is what I take.
Okay. And did you participate in the child custody evaluation?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the findings of the child custody evaluator?
Yes.
In particular, that she considered a lot of your responses to be dishonest,
No.
that you're overly critical and negatively focused on Michelle rather than focused on Alexander.
No.
So if the judge were to take the time to read the evaluation and for herself to see whether or not that's accurate, you're telling the court that that's not in there.
I mean, I don't, I'm not critical of Michelle unless it's something to do with Alexander's, consistency or structure and things like that. But
Does your employment require you to work steady hours, or what are your hours?
very flexible now.
When you say now, when did it start becoming flexible for you?
It's always been flexible. I mean, I'm the owner. I make my own schedule. I work from home now, well, most of the time. I have a team, so.
Yep. And set your own salary too, of course, right?
No, I don't set it up. That's up to my accountants and stuff, so I don't know.
Okay. So you're the owner and you set your own hours. Do your hours ever require you to work on weekends?
Not weekends, no.
Is it your testimony under oath that in the last 2 years you've never had to go into work on a weekend?
I don't recall. Honestly, Saturdays and Sundays, I don't work.
Okay. Do you ever work late into the evening, say after 5 p.m.?
Sometimes, yes. Rush hours, that's obviously in the evening. So there are some times where I do go, in the evenings, yes.
How often would a restaurant require you to be present in the evenings?
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's like very hard. It just depends on volume and market, things and that. So it's like, yeah.
But how late are the restaurants open?
Until 9:30.
And do you ever meet with staff after 9:30 to go over the books for the day or the week or the month?
No, that's not my responsibility.
Do you think Miss Reyes is a good mother?
I do think she's a good mother, yeah.
And do you, it's not your intention today to say that you're asking the court to keep it 50-50 because that's the way that it's been?
Can you repeat that again, please?
You're asking the court to keep it a 50-50 schedule because that's the way it's always been?
Yeah, I think, yeah. It's 50-50 is what we've done. I don't want to take anything away from her. It's what Alexander's been used to. So, that's yeah.
And it's possible that you're both great parents, yet what's in the best interest of the child isn't necessarily a 50-50 arrangement, right?
I mean, if that's what you want to say, but no, not really.
It can be a true statement that you're both good parents, but that in the best interest of Alexander, one of you should be determined to be the primary conservator.
I don't really know what 100% primary means, right?
Okay.
But of course, there are certain decisions that I would like to have participation in. Those
Sure.
decisions have, Michelle has done. And like, for example, I don't know who the psychiatrist is. She, up to this day, she hasn't told me. Maybe she told you. I don't know. But I don't know who the psychiatrist is. I don't know medication after the fact. So those are the things that just keep happening. And so she has history for that. And I think, I think we both want participation in Alexander's well-being and
Sure.
environment. So, it's
And,
that's my
and
only
that
concern.
and would you agree that that participation is available to parents who aren't 50-50?
I'm just talking specifically to the fact that she has been very bad also in communication. I don't know, again, the name or where the psychiatrist is, just like she didn't tell me for 6 months where she lived and took my child away, right? So it's the same thing.
So for 6 months, it wasn't 50-50?
No, when she left the house, right? She left and went with another man, right? I didn't know where he was. I didn't know she lived in Mesquite at that time. It was right after we went in front of Judge Lee that she decided to tell us where she lived, because that was obviously something bad for her.
I see. What homework do you help Alexander with?
Math homework, spelling.
All right, now the accusations take center stage, and this is where the pressure really builds. The mother claims the father's demanding work schedule has caused serious parenting lapses, missed school pickups, unanswered calls, and even leaving the child waiting during important moments. These are strong allegations because they directly question reliability. If true, they could seriously damage the father's case. This segment shifts from emotional complaints to specific incidents, making the claims feel more concrete and impactful in the courtroom.
Right now, with a lot of math homework, for sure.
And you have other children that you care for that are under the same roof, right?
Yeah.
What are their ages?
4 and 1-year-old baby.
So you don't have to help them with homework yet, right?
No,
they're
not yet. Not yet.
I see.
Yeah, not yet.
How's Alexander doing in school, grade wise?
Now he's doing better. There was a period where he declined. His grades slipped. And I had to step in to just study more with him and increase his grades. And that's what we've been doing.
And since during that period of time when his grades slipped, didn't he also have a lot of absences that were during your times of possession?
No.
So if the evaluator made that comment, the evaluator got that wrong?
Well, his grades slipped just, the last quarter. So the evaluation was already done before that. So
what else does Alexander, other than math, what else do you help Alexander with?
math, reading, spelling tests. He has it every Friday. And, he's got social studies. So he's studying a little bit of science. We go over, right now, countries and states, capitals, things like that. So.
And speaking of countries, are you in the country on a work visa?
Me?
Rejection of relevance.
Well,
What's the relevance?
the relevance of it is I'm just wanting to make sure that that status is good. Otherwise, we would be putting the child at risk if Mr. Gomez were subject to deportation.
Overruled,
You can answer the question, sir.
sir. The question was, are you in the country on a work visa?
Not on a work visa, no.
Okay, what paperwork are you in the country on?
I'm under, it's DACA. That's what it is.
And is that up to date?
Yes.
And so your status currently is that you're in the country lawfully, not subject to any deportation.
Yeah, lawfully.
Do you agree that it would be harmful if Alexander were to leave the environment that he's known and go to a different country.
Objection or relevance?
About that,
Do you agree that it would be harmful if Alexander were to leave the environment he's known and go to a different country?
Of course, yes.
and if for some reason your paperwork made it to where you had to leave the country, then would you want to take Alexander with you?
No, honestly not. I want to give him
So
stability.
in that emergency scenario, you would want Alexander to stay with whom?
Possibly, Michelle's parents and my parents' guidance.
Okay, so but not Michelle.
Not unsupervised, of course not.
Is she supervised now?
I guess under psychiatrist, I guess, but I don't,
Her visitation with her children are not supervised by a psychiatrist, and they never have been. Isn't that right?
probably not. I don't know.
So if something were to happen that you had to leave the country, your testimony under oath today is that you would not leave the child with Michelle Reyes.
Yeah. I think he should stay with her.
Okay.
His mother.
And you don't have any safety concerns with the child being with Michelle, right? You haven't sought to any protective orders or anything against Michelle, right?
No. Not with her, but the partner, yes. I don't know anything about him either, right? So
let's talk about your partner. Who are you partnered with?
A woman.
Okay, what's her name?
Louisa.
And is this the person you have the 4-year-old and the 1-year-old with? I didn't hear it.
Answer. Mr. Gomez,
Mm-hmm.
you have to answer out because of the court reporter in the record.
Oh, I did. I said yes.
There was a breakup in the connection, it sounded like.
Yeah. And the mother of the 4-year-old and the 1-year-old, what's her nationality?
Russian.
And she wasn't born in America either, correct?
Objection or relevance, Your Honor. This has not been an issue. I don't think there's any relevance of her nationality or where she was born.
Let's look at the child. I think it's relevant.
Sustained.
Opposing counsel opened the door when she brought up the other children.
She brought up the other children because they are relevant to dad and because the child in this case are siblings, but the nationality of the person that he has the children by is not relevant.
Fair. Is she in the country legally?
Yes.
Objection or relevance?
Sustained.
All right, guys, the mother now strengthens her position by contrasting her own lifestyle with the father's. She presents herself as consistent, available, and fully involved in the child's daily routine. Her work schedule is stable, predictable, and doesn't interfere with parenting responsibilities. This is a calculated move to show she can provide the structure the father allegedly cannot. By highlighting her availability, she reinforces the idea that she's better suited to be the primary parent. It's less about attacking now and more about proving her own reliability.
Is your testimony, sir, that you make $5,000 a month?
Yeah, about.
How much is the private school tuition a month?
It's about $800.
And do you own a home or do you rent an apartment?
No, I'm currently renting.
And how much is your rent?
Well, it's from a friend, so it's like $2,000.
And do you have a vehicle that you have a car payment on?
Yeah,
How
from
much is the
the
car payment?
well, the restaurant pays for that. I don't, it's a van, it's a catering van. So
About what are your monthly grocery costs, do you think?
overall,
Mhm.
I don't know. Again, I don't really go over that 100%, you know.
Okay, so roughly just off of the tuition and your rent without paying any bills, you've spent 3,000 of the 5,000 that you make a month. And it's your testimony that you can cover all of the bills and own 5 restaurants, and that's all the money that you make.
I mean, that is income. So, you know,
Did you bring a copy of your 2024 tax returns for the court today?
yeah. I turned all that in.
But those weren't admitted into evidence. Your lawyer didn't present those as documents to be presented today. Let me ask a different question. If the court should ask you to pay child support, how much child support do you think you should pay?
No clue.
Do you think that it's the job of the mother and father to both support the child?
If it's, 50-50 and we both contribute, yes.
And not just financially, but emotionally and physically support the child, right?
Emotionally, academically, and socially.
And so if the judge follows the evaluator's recommendation and makes Michelle the primary and gives you expanded standard and orders you to pay child support, how much support do you think you should pay in that case?
I never gone through this, so I don't know the calculations.
Okay.
I don't know. I have no clue. I think
Okay.
but obviously I have all the kids, so I have all the stuff. So it's, I don't know. I have no clue.
Okay, I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, counsel, you have 2 minutes and 47 seconds left. Attorney Taylor, you have 19 minutes and 35 seconds left.
Thank you, Judge.
You can cross or you can wait until your case in chief and take your client under direct.
I'll cross, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Ayala, just to be clear, you're asking to be appointed for you two to be appointed as joint managing conservators with you as the primary conservator to determine the child's residence. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you currently reside.
Hold on 1 second, sir. You have to answer out. The answer is yes or no.
Sorry. Yes.
Okay, and one more thing. I want the record to reflect that the custody evaluator, Jessica Rogers, is present. Aiden is her son's name. So
Okay.
where that Aiden was coming from. Let me go ahead and swear you in. Well, state your name for the record, please.
Jessica Rogers.
All right. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give will be the truth and the whole truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may lower your hand. Attorney Taylor, you may proceed.
Sorry, where was I? You're asking to be appointed as the primary conservator with the exclusive right to determine the child's residence. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is one of those reasons being that you currently live 5 minutes from the school that he's been going to?
Yes, I do.
And do you believe that in your home you can offer him a more stable environment as far as being a primary conservator?
Objection leading.
Sustain, don't lead.
Okay, I'm just crossing, so.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah, you can lead on cross. Okay, go ahead.
So can you explain to this court, why do you feel like you can provide stability for Alexander?
Well, stability for him because, at least I will have more communication on the psychiatrists, doctors, saying, I'm more available. That is true. I have more flexibility on my schedule. I've proven to his grades whenever his grades were down, especially during this time that he was being picked up by the Michelle's neighbor, and those assignments were not being turned in during her weeks. I stepped in when he was about to repeat second grade, and the one who spearheaded the whole, process of getting him ready for third grade so he wouldn't repeat second grade. It was all me. And Michelle has, agreed to that before. But that's all, it's just on his academic performance, consistency, and obviously in his, doctors and psychiatrists, consistency on that as well. I will not, will make her part of that. I will never, make a decision just by myself.
Isn't it correct that you were fully aware of his psychologists and doctors until Michelle made recent changes without informing you?
You cut off for a little bit, but can
Yeah,
you
I
say
can
that
repeat
again?
if needed. Isn't it correct that you were fully aware of who his doctors were, who his psychologists were before Michelle made recent changes without informing you?
Yes, yes, yes.
And is that the basis for you to ask for those decisions as far as psychiatric and psychological and medical decisions to be by joint agreement so that you both can be fully aware and agreement of these decisions?
100% yes.
Now, additionally, as far as your work schedule, has your work interfered with your ability to provide care and attention to Alexander?
No, it has not interfered.
Now, you mentioned that you work from home now a lot of the times. How are you able to do that and how often?
For my computer, a lot of it is just delegating and going over spreadsheets and numbers and things like that, sales, things like that. So I could do a lot of that from home and from my
And
computer.
just to be clear, you stated that you operate and own 5 restaurants, but you don't own those restaurants by yourself, do you?
No, of course not.
So your income is based off of your percentage of ownership and also expenses from those restaurants. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, there's investors and things. Yeah.
And we've submitted your 2023 taxes where that year after expenses, you earned $23,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, I submitted everything. Yes.
And your accountant is still working on the 2024 taxes. Is that correct?
There was an extension, yes, and I think they're done with that. But yeah.
And now, additionally, do you have Alexander involved in any extracurricular activities?
Always, we stay very active. He's in tennis. He's been in tennis for a year and a month, and now he wants to do some golf. So I want to put him in golf as well.
And who enrolled him in those activities?
I did.
And who takes him to those activities?
I do.
And as far as you're aware, is he enrolled in any extracurricular on Ms. Reyes's time?
Not that I know of.
And just in addition to that, you mentioned the other children in your home. What is the bond with Alexander and his siblings?
Well, very big bond, obviously. Lucas, the 4-year-old, he's always asking for him whenever he's not with us during that week that he spends with Michelle. Like even on Sunday, we went to a friend's birthday, and he's always wondering, where Alexander is, so that he's at school. He doesn't understand yet.
If the judge changes the 50-50 week on, week off schedule, do you think that would negatively impact Alexander emotionally and then also his bond with his siblings?
Yes, Alexander, same thing, especially right now with his little sister. I've never seen that side of Alexander ever. He's always, he's hugging her and very gentle and all of that. So yes, of course it would affect them. Affect him.
Now there's been some mention of your legal status. How long have you been in this country?
20 years.
Now, is there any reason for you to believe or any reason that your status is in jeopardy?
No.
And now, in addition to that, if your status wasn't in jeopardy, would you be transparent with Ms. Reyes if that situation were to ever change?
Of course.
Buckle up, because this is where everything starts to turn. During cross-examination, the father's attorney begins exposing cracks in the mother's narrative. Her statements become inconsistent, and key details are unclear or forgotten. It's revealed that she now works and relies on childcare, something that weakens her earlier advantage. Then comes the biggest twist. Her mental health history is brought up, including a diagnosis and lack of ongoing treatment. This moment shifts the entire tone of the case. What started as a strong position suddenly feels uncertain, and her credibility takes a serious hit right in front of the court.